Okay, next up we have Conor Bergin. So Conor recently got his MA in interaction design from the NCAD, and he's going to scratch the surface of what a CAM AR platform should be when designing for long-term consumer level augmented reality experiences. Thank you, Conor.
I just want to add this for AR glasses as well, so not mobile AR. So when we think of when we think of AR or AR as it's pitched to us currently, it's always this kind of fantastic way of kind of consuming new content and digital information in a way that we can't do now. But the reality of it isn't always the same. So when we see kind of how it actually displays to us, we wonder, why do we even use this? Is it just for a novelty? Do I even want to use this again? I might look at this for 5 minutes and think, or not even 5 minutes, 10 seconds, and think, well, I'm done. So why do we use AR for things that a mobile will do better? And when we think of the future of that AR world, we kind of always imagine this world covered in digital content everywhere, doing this kind of insane things that we've never even considered possible. But why do we want this content being thrown into our faces at all times? So it kind of brings us to this idea of what could a CAM AR system be? And to me, a CAM AR system is essentially the opposite of what we just saw there. So it's something that works for the user. It only does what they want to do, and it doesn't give them that kind of extraneous information that really takes over their vision. So when you're designing for AR, I believe that context is probably one of the most important things, because what's different between a mobile device or a PC would be that it really depends on where you are, what you're doing, what's the weather like where are you going, are you standing, are you walking? And I kind of created this CAM AR design manifesto to guide my designs for this project. And it kind of covers a few different rules, which I thought became more and more important as I went along with it. So the first one is to kind of celebrate the real world. So take content that people want, let them use it in a way that works for them, let them only see it when they want to see it, kind of curate it for AR so that it always works the way they want it to work, and it isn't something that becomes part of like too much in their vision. It's about contextual awareness. So if AR knows what you're doing, it can give you far more up-to-date and relevant information than a mobile can. It's also about understanding if a user are they sitting down, are they standing up, if they're crossing the road, you don't want to cover their vision. You want to make sure you know that you're doing something the right way. It's about using the world as your canvas. So people should be able to place content in a way that suits them in a kind of a format that works for AR. So it's not just about taking AR or taking web content and placing it into an AR vision, but it's about kind of making a responsive AR web. And that kind of happens here again for don't use AR for everything. So why would you use AR for something when a mobile device is better? If it's not just about taking that content and placing it there. And then too much is too much. So you need to be mindful of when you're showing the user too much and letting them kind of decide what works for them, but also not making it incredibly excessive. But it's just kind of something that we need to really be mindful of when we're designing for AR. And then familiarity blocking progress. From a design perspective, it's extremely important. So you can't just create this kind of QWERTY keyboard floating in space that you look at to type with, because it just doesn't work. It's not usable. So why do we kind of take these concepts that work everywhere else and place it into AR when it shouldn't be done? It's about providing discovery and surprise along the way. So rather than kind of throw things into their face and their vision, maybe we should give them kind of prompts along the way that they uncover as they go. And it becomes kind of part of their life that they're discovering more new things along the way. And it's about making the impossible possible at the end of the day. So AR can do things that mobile can't, and we're currently kind of only using it to do things that mobile can. And we need to kind of discover where are these positions, where are these contexts. So for my project, I kind of created a new paradigm for CAM AR, which I call frames and handles. So it's about taking content and placing it in this kind of AR frame, which is location-based, and using a handle, which would be UI. And for creating content, it becomes very complicated when you're designing content in an AR system for an AR system. So rather than kind of playing around with, text input and search bars, maybe the phone can be your kind of powerhouse creating this content. You can cast it to one of these UI handles and place it in a frame. So this would be showing personal content. Maybe you can make your wall a TV screen and just leave it there, and it works for you, and you can control the content through some interactions. So personal content will be shared with users or with other people or yourself, and you can do whatever you want with it. But on the other side of that, there's also the idea of world content. So this would be kind of like Google's automatically generated results, where if you had maybe if you had a reminder on your phone to buy cat food, it would know, and it would get contextually relevant information and place it where it needs to be. It's all about content control as well. So with AR, we kind of don't really have any rules about how we control it yet. It's mainly just about placing something somewhere and looking at it and kind of having a look around it. And it's 3D, you know it's 3D, and that's it. And thanks very much. That's all I have time for, I think.